Two people. Same city. Same job. Same salary, $52,000 a year. They graduated the same year, moved into similar apartments, complained about the same things. 5 years later, one of them has $51,000 saved and invested. The other has $3,200 in a checking account and a vague plan to start being serious about money soon. Same income. Same city. 5 years. And a $48,000 difference between their lives. This isn't a story about discipline. It's not about being smarter or luckier or having some secret strategy. It's about one specific thing that happened differently between these two people. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly what it was. But first, let's talk about what it actually feels like to have nothing saved. Because most finance content skips this part. They go straight to the strategy. They skip the feeling. And the feeling is where everything actually starts. You're 24 years old. Your account sits at $1,100 on a good week and $340 on a bad one. Every month is a math problem you're trying to solve in real time. The rent is due on the 1st. The car insurance hits on the 15th. And somewhere between those two dates, something always comes up. A medical copay. A parking ticket. A flight home for someone's wedding. And you pay it, you always pay it, but something tightens in your chest every single time. Because you know that you are one bad month away from a really serious problem. You don't say that out loud. But you know it. This is the psychology of zero savings. And it's not just stressful. It physically changes how you think. Studies show that financial stress borrows mental bandwidth the same way a loud noise does. It's always running in the background, consuming energy you need for everything else. Decisions feel harder. Risks feel bigger. The future feels further away than it actually is. And here's what nobody tells you about this stage. The problem isn't that you're bad with money. The problem is that you've never seen money do anything except disappear. You earn it, it leaves, you earn more, it leaves again. Money, in your experience, is a thing you trade your time for and then hand to other people. The idea that it could work differently, that it could stay, grow, multiply, that idea hasn't felt real yet. It's something that happens to other people. People who started with more. People who had help. That belief, quiet, unexamined, sitting just below the surface, is the thing that keeps most people exactly where they are. Now meet the first person. The one who ends up with $51,000. And I want you to notice, he doesn't start with a plan. He starts with a feeling. He's 25, sitting in his apartment on a Sunday night, and he does something he's been avoiding for months. He opens his banking app and actually looks. Not a quick glance. He sits with it. He adds up what came in, what went out, and what's left. And what's left is $214. For the whole month. After a month of working. Something shifts in him that night. Not anger. Not panic. Something quieter. A decision that doesn't even feel like a decision yet. He moves $200 into a separate savings account. Not because he has a strategy. Because he doesn't want to see that number anymore and do nothing about it. 2 months later, he moves $200 again. Then $250. Then a month where he can only do $100. And it's slow. It is genuinely, frustratingly slow. By the end of the first year, he has $2,400 saved. And it feels like almost nothing, because it is almost nothing, and the part of his brain that wants immediate results is screaming that this will never work, that at this rate he'll be dead before it matters, that he should just spend it on something that actually makes him feel good right now. This is the moment where most people quit. Right here. Not at zero. Right at the point where they've actually started but it feels pointless. And here's the dark irony, they quit closest to where things begin to change. He doesn't quit. Not because he's special. Because he's just stubborn enough to be annoyed at the thought of starting over. By year 2, the account is at $6,800. He started investing $150 a month into a simple index fund, something that tracks the whole stock market, boring and broad and unglamorous. The market dips and his account goes down by $400 and he feels a spike of something cold in his chest. But he doesn't sell. He just watches it. And then it comes back. And then it goes a little higher than before. Year 3. He gets a small raise. He does something counterintuitive. He doesn't upgrade his apartment. He doesn't buy a newer car. He increases his monthly investment by $100 and pretends the raise didn't happen. This decision, invisible to everyone around him, is worth more than almost anything else he could have done. Because of what happens next. The account crosses $20,000. Then $30,000. And somewhere around $38,000 he notices something strange. The account is going up in months where he didn't add much. Not by a lot. But it's moving on its own. The math is doing something he can feel but can't quite explain yet. He's earning interest on interest. His past contributions are growing, and the growth itself is growing. It's slow. But it's real. And then one Tuesday morning, not a dramatic moment, just a regular Tuesday, he checks the account, and it says $51,400. He sits with that number for a second. He expected to feel something big. Some arrival. Some victory. What he actually feels is quieter than that. Like stepping into a room you've been walking toward for years and realizing it looks different than you imagined. Smaller in some ways. Bigger in others. Here's what changes at $50,000. And this is the part that almost nobody talks about. At $50,000 invested, growing at roughly 7% per year, the account earns approximately $3,500 in a year without him adding a single dollar. $3,500. Just appearing. From decisions he made 2 and 3 years ago. That's almost $300 a month coming in from money that already exists. And something breaks open in his understanding of how this works. Because for the first time in his life, money is not just something he earns. It's something he has. And having it, really having it, with enough weight to actually move on its own, feels completely different from earning it. He starts thinking differently. Not about money specifically. About everything. He's up for a promotion at work. The old version of him would have taken whatever they offered because he needed it. This version of him asks for $8,000 more than the offer. He doesn't do this because he's confident. He does it because he has $51,000 sitting somewhere making money, and the desperate edge is gone from his decisions. They say yes. A few months later, his car needs a $1,400 repair. In the past, this would have been a crisis, credit card, stress, 3 weeks of trying to recover. Now he transfers the money, fixes the car, and moves on. Not because $1,400 is nothing, but because it's no longer everything. And this right here, is what $50,000 actually buys. Not things. Not status. A different relationship with risk. A different relationship with time. A different relationship with yourself. Because when you've proven to yourself that you can build something over years, quietly, without applause, without seeing results for months at a stretch, you've proven something about who you are. And that proof is hard to take away. Now, the second person. The one who ends up with $3,200 after 5 years. Let's not judge them. Let's just follow what happened. Because it's important. He earned the same amount. He was just as smart. He had the same chances. But every time he got close to saving something meaningful, something pulled him back. A trip he didn't want to miss. A car upgrade that felt necessary. A relationship, a move, a stretch of months where saving felt impossible. And each time, he told himself he'd start over next month. Next month always came. The starting over never quite did. And here's what this actually cost him. Not just a $48,000 difference in the account. What it cost him was 5 years of compound growth that will never start. The $30,000 he would have invested at 25, if left alone until he's 55, would become roughly $228,000. That's not a number he can go back and create. That window closed quietly, without announcement, while he was living his life. This is the hidden cost that never shows up on a receipt. The cost of waiting. The cost of almost starting. The cost of $3,200 instead of $51,000 isn't just $48,000. It's every dollar those $48,000 would have created for the next 30 years. But here's the thing I want to say carefully, because this matters. He isn't behind forever. He's just behind right now. And the same math that worked against him works for him the moment he starts. The same compounding that punishes delay rewards consistency. Every month he waits costs him. But every month he starts pays him forward. The first $50,000 is hard. Genuinely hard. Not because the math is complicated. Because the feeling is. Because it takes long enough that you'll question it 50 times before you see it working. Because life will interrupt you. Because the results are invisible for so long that you'll wonder if you're doing something wrong. You're not doing something wrong. You're just early. And early is the only place this starts. Two people. Same salary. Same city. Same starting point. 5 years later, one of them has a number in an account that is quietly, invisibly, automatically growing, even on the days he forgets to check it. Even on the days nothing goes right. Even on a regular Tuesday morning when he's just trying to get to work on time. The only thing that was different between them wasn't income. It wasn't intelligence. It wasn't luck or timing or some advantage you don't have. It was one decision. Made early. And held on to. Through the slow months. Through the boring months. Through the months where it felt like nothing was happening. Something was always happening. He just couldn't see it yet.